every few years, about a couple times in a console generation, Nintendo releases a very large game, one that is very iconic, very memorable, held as one of the best games of all time for years, and is also very innovative, creative, and does things that you would never expect to see in its respective genre. And this includes games like Mario Odyssey, Mario Galaxy, Wind Waker, and Breath of the Wild, and a few other games as well. And a lot of the time, it seems like Nintendo reserves this budget and level of effort for games like Mario and Zelda. But this time, they are doing it for DK going into the Switch 2 era. This is going to be the big game that really shows off the Switch 2 in a lot of ways, and it's also just packed with content and creative ideas. I feel like this is even a step above Mario Kart World in a lot of ways. Mario Kart World is fun, but it is lacking in some ways. But Bananza is really something special here. It is seemingly developed by EPD Tokyo, the same developers as Mario Odyssey and the Galaxy games, and you could really see that in the DNA of this game. You could clearly see the inspiration from Odyssey with the Banandium gems kind of like scattered throughout all of the collectibles, and also being the movement being very kind of intuitive while also having a level of depth to it. It seems like there's just a lot going on here, and also just with the story as well that we got kind of a glimpse of in the Direct. It definitely seems a lot more interesting than what you would expect from like most games like this, even for Donkey Kong standards. I would say it's kind of like comparable to like Galaxy and Odyssey. I would say even like a little more interesting than them. You could clearly tell that Koizumi was involved with this, because like just with the level of creativity with like the story and premise here, because it is just kind of amazing what we've seen here so far. Like in the game, you have Pauline, who at the beginning of the game was turned into a rock called Odd Rock, but then we see that it's Pauline, and Pauline has like different like singing abilities, and then she has like this wish to like go back to the surface. And then there's also Voidco as well, which consists of these like evil Kongs that are like in this company. I'm trying to get to the center of the earth, and you also have to go do the same, try to get to the center of the earth and go through these different like underground worlds that are on different levels. I think that is just a really cool and interesting premise there. I think it's amazing that Pauline is in the game. And it's not just the regular Pauline, it's like a younger version of Pauline, which kind of is a bit confusing for the timeline, because Cranky is in the game, and then also Diddy Kong and Dixie Kong, who are like a little younger than the main Donkey Kong. But we have the main Donkey Kong here and a younger Pauline. I don't know, maybe there's some like time travel shenanigans going on, or maybe like Pauline like turned into a child when she got transformed into Odd Rock or something. Maybe it was just like a little quirk of like her being transformed into Odd Rock. I don't know. I don't want to think about it too much. A lot of people are saying like it doesn't mean anything, but I think there might be some reason behind it, because they wouldn't just do something this drastic out of nowhere when like all the other characters are like the same age that they are in every other Donkey Kong and Mario game. So I think there probably is some explanation behind this, but I think it is just really cool that she's in the game in general. Like, her design in the game is pretty cool. Like, she's basically wearing like a like her outfit's kind of based on Donkey Kong 94 a little bit. It's kind of like ripped up, which I think is pretty cool. I think it's like a nice callback there. And it definitely seems like there's a lot of callbacks to like both Donkey Kong Country and like the original arcade Donkey Kong as well, between like the music and set pieces. There's like a lot of you can see a lot of the girders from the original Donkey Kong and different things. So I think it's just a really cool premise and story going on here. And also, the gameplay just looks incredible as well. That's another reason you could tell this was very likely made by the Odyssey team, because it looks very well designed. Because, like, not only can you just basically just tear up the environment and just, like, dig everywhere, but there's all sorts of different moves you can do, like punching in different directions, or doing, like a chunk jump, like taking out like a piece of rock and jumping with that, turf surf, which looks pretty fun, and then also like the different materials that you could dig into have like different properties as well. Like some of them are harder than others, so you could use like a hard rock to break a softer rock, or you could even use like sand to like build like a platform. It's just really cool and really flexible. The amount of flexibility that you had in, like, Mario Odyssey, actually, I would say even more so. It seems like it's kind of an evolution of Odyssey, in a way. But it's also, like, kind of what you would expect for DK. Like, DK has always been kind of, like, a strong character, just, like, smashing through enemies, just rolling around. This kind of seems like an evolution of that as well. It really seems like the next logical step to take Donkey Kong as well. So I think it's definitely, like, a combination of, like, the best of both worlds. Like, both Donkey Kong and 3D Mario. And honestly, I've heard like a couple people say that they're disappointed that we're getting a Donkey Kong game by the Odyssey team and not a new 3D Mario game. But honestly, I think if you like 3D Mario, you'll probably love Donkey Kong Bonanza, just based on what we've seen so far. I mean, I know it's not out yet, but just as an Odyssey fan, just like looking at this game, this is gonna be something special. This is gonna be amazing. Like, if you are, like, a big Mario fan, you're probably gonna enjoy this game. So, I just think the gameplay looks incredible. And also, in the Direct, we saw that there's also these Bananza abilities as well, which looks really cool. Like, they're kind of like they're basically, like, this game's version of the Animal Friends. And there's ones like there's basically an upgraded Kong, which is like the first one, presumably. And then there's like a zebra and an ostrich, and it's kind of funny seeing like Donkey Kong versions of different animals. I think that is just kind of crazy, and it's something that you would really only see from like EPD Tokyo, or like, I guess it's kind of similar to the Mario Wonder as well, but like, it's just that kind of weird, interesting thing that you would expect from, like, these in-house Mario games, but we're now seeing it with DK. But I'm also seeing, like, a lot of influence from Rare Donkey Kong as well. It seems like EPD Tokyo definitely, like, took a lot of notes from Rare Donkey Kong, and it's definitely referencing it quite a lot. Like, the little bonus stages in the game, which are kind of like Mario Odyssey's sub-areas, kind of like have little side-scrolling areas referencing different levels from Donkey Kong Country. Like, there was one based on like jungle hijinks, and then also like there was one with like the minecart, and just also like the Bramble Blast from Donkey Kong Country 2. And there's also like other things that we've seen, like the map of the Northern Hemisphere, and like basically the map of the fossils, and also like a lot of little musical and voice clip references from Donkey Kong 64, like the "Oh, banana," and like even like the DK rap being sampled in one of the songs, and Rambi's theme getting a remix. There's just like a lot of really cool little callbacks to the Rare games. Like, even a lot of the NPCs in the game kind of look like different Rare characters. Like, we're seeing like a lot of the monkey-like Kongs that kind of have like a similar design to like Diddy and Dixie, and ostriches that have a similar design to Espresso, and just different things like that. I think it's just really cool to see that Rare influence kind of showing up in this game. I would say even more so than Retro's Donkey Kong games. It seems like they're almost kind of avoiding it in some ways in those games, but here it seems like they're embracing it. And we've also seen Diddy Kong and Dixie Kong show up as well as Rambi, which were definitely like in my predictions. So I think it was definitely pretty cool seeing them show up on top of Cranky Kong. I'm sure we might even see some more Kongs in the game, maybe in like different like side areas or mini games and things. Because Diddy Kong and Dixie Kong had like a Rambi racing mini game, which I think looked really cool. I thought that looked pretty fun, and it's cool to see them incorporated in the game in that way. It's almost like the mini games that Mario Odyssey had, like the free-running Koopas or like the races in Shiveria. Kind of similar to that. It's EPD Tokyo always likes to add like little mini games and things into like the more like sandbox or like bigger open 3D games that they do. So it's pretty cool seeing like Diddy Kong and Dixie Kong have that role. And speaking of mini games, there are even like more things in here because they revealed a DK artist mode, which is basically kind of like the name of the DK artist reminds me of that one Nintendo 64 DD game, Mario Artist. But it also reminds me of the title screen of Mario 64 DS as well, because you're basically kind of creating these like little like 3D models out of stone, which I think is pretty cool. I said it's kind of comparable to Mario 64 DS, because in 64 DS you could draw like little designs and like kind of mess around with them. It kind of seems like there's a similar thing here, but it's really cool to have like a little extra thing on top of it. It's kind of similar to what Nintendo used to do. Like, we don't really see that much of that nowadays, like with like little mini games and these little extra modes. So it's really cool to see Bananza doing it. Like, the fact that Bananza is going out of its way to just do these little things that they didn't have to do just kind of goes to show like how like interesting this game is and how much effort they're putting into it. It is just incredible. So there's just a lot to this game that I'm really looking forward to. There's even like the soundtrack, which is absolutely amazing, and there's a sound test, which is something that Mario Kart World notably lacked. I mentioned that in one of my videos, but there's like a lot of different things you could do in this game. A lot of collectibles as well. Like, the Banandium gems are kind of spread around like the moons in Odyssey, but you also have the fossils, banana chips, gold, different things like that, and each of them are kind of split up into different shops. Like, I know Odyssey just had like a couple different like little collectible things, like the coins and the purple coins, which were used for like either regional items or just items anywhere, but here it seems like they're splitting up the clothing and also basically the banana chips that kind of trade for bananas. They're not like kind of using one currency for everything. They're kind of splitting it up, which I kind of like. I think that's a pretty good thing to do. Make it a little more consistent. And then also, like, since I mentioned the outfits are also really cool as well. There's like a lot of different things that they have here, and you could even change the color of DK's fur, which is really cool. And Pauline also has her own little outfits as well. And then there's also the Amiibos as well. It has Amiibo support. You can use like any like DK related Amiibo, as well as the new Amiibo that they're releasing with this, with DK and Pauline. And I think this is the first time they're releasing a Pauline Amiibo, which is really cool. It's kind of weird that we haven't gotten one yet. Like, we haven't gotten like an adult Pauline Amiibo, but it's still really cool seeing like Pauline in an Amiibo in general, and also DK's new design as well. This Amiibo is probably going to be a little pricey because Amiibo prices have gone up like since the Switch 2 released, unfortunately, but I'm still probably gonna get it. Like, it looks really cool, and I usually like to get Amiibos for like games that I'm really interested in. I actually predicted that this game was gonna get Amiibo, like at least Amiibo support, but I think in my video I said that like it would be cool if we got like an Amiibo. I'm not sure if it was before or after we knew that Pauline was going to be in the game from that leak, but I said something about that. So that was technically a prediction that I got right. I think it kind of makes sense as this is likely being developed by the Odyssey team, and Odyssey had Amiibo. Also, like, the port of 3D World, like with Bowser's Fury, also had new Amiibo releasing with like Cat Mario and Cat Peach, and that was technically like co-developed by EPD Tokyo, so it makes a lot of sense there. It seems like most of EPD Tokyo's releases have Amiibo, so it kind of makes sense there. But this is just extremely exciting. And I feel like this is definitely going to be one of the biggest, most iconic games of the Switch 2 era. And I feel like this is easily probably going to become one of my favorite games of all time. It just looks absolutely incredible from what we've seen so far. So anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments, and make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. And make sure to check out my Discord server and Blue Sky if you want to. Stay perky!